Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yeah, not quite, but kinda. I don't know about anybody else, but I am having a major identity crisis right now. I used to be all about my degree. I was studying psychology. I wanted to be a forensic psychologist. I had a plan carved out, kind of carved out, but I had a plan. And turns out it hasn't really gone to plan. When I was at uni, when people asked about me, Kira, what do you do? Like, nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. Oh, I'm studying a degree in psychology. Oh, how's that? Oh, it's really good. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a forensic psychologist. Like, I really want to help people, but I'm really interested in crime, and I think that would be a good way to blend them. Oh, that sounds awesome. How do you get there? Oh, well, I have to do a degree and then an honours and then maybe a master's. It's really niche, but I think I'll get there. Yeah, well, let's just say we didn't get there. Now, if people ask me what I do with myself, I have no clue what to say. I decided in third year, after being in the honours streamline, that I actually didn't want to do honours. I didn't want to do research. It fucking sucked. And don't get me wrong, I loved learning psychology. I made it through 3 years of research methods for that degree. If you know, you know. Fuck research methods. It's the worst. But now when people ask me what I do with myself or who am I know what to say, but I don't want to say it. Yeah, I work in insurance. It's just not who I want to be. It doesn't align with me. It doesn't align with my passions and the things that kept me going. In reflecting on all of this, I never realized how much my degree and my study made up my identity. Clearly it wasn't until I'm having these conversations outside of my degree that I realize how heavily it impacted me. I feel like a complete misalignment from who I want to be. Who I am and who I want to be are just not the same. And don't get me wrong, I have the 9 to 5, but I have hobbies. I like to draw, I like to read. I'm on a massive fiction kick. I love me some nonfiction. But I just read the first book of A Called Thorns of Roses and I'm kind of in love, as everybody else is. I play games. I was an Animal Crossing girly. I like to exercise. Weight training is my thing. I'm really getting back into running. I really want to try Pilates. Don't forget socializing with friends. And I really like trying new food. But despite all these likes and wants, I feel like I have no time. I have no time for me and those parts of me that make up my identity, I wake up 2 hours before my start time for my job, and then it takes me an hour to get home. And, I'm making the most of these. This is where most of my reading happens. I don't want to say I'm forgetting myself. I feel like I have to pick and choose parts of myself, forgetting the other parts of myself. I'm going to be real. I have severely neglected my creative side for years. I'm going to out myself right now in my first ever personal YouTube video that I used to be an AMV editor. Yeah. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. It's a whole thing. And a part of me is cringy and a little bit embarrassed, but the other part of me looks back and just sees teenage Kira constantly creating and enjoying what she's doing and just boop, 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 going away at my computer. And I would spend hours, if not days, on these projects. And that's gone. And I don't want it to be gone. In 2021, I tore my meniscus, which is a little tendon if you don't know. I had such bad back pain that I was constantly hunched over the counter or the trolleys at work for any sense of relief and going home crying every night in pain. I had a physio congratulate me for not needing to come in for 3 months in between my injuries. This was then followed up with tennis elbow. And then I had 2 infections, one in my stomach lining and one in my lung. And then when I recovered, I pulled a muscle in my ribs and I couldn't breathe properly. So let's just say 2021 was a really interesting time in my life. And while I laughed it off at the time, and many of my coworkers laughed because I was laughing, as I was told, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And in hindsight, it has ended up becoming a huge part of my identity, and probably not for the best. I keep hanging on to the ways that my body has failed me. When my knee feels a little unstable, I get scared that I'm going to tear my tendon again. If I haven't stretched correctly before a run, I often finish in pain. And it's scary. I don't like to admit, no matter how much I dress it up, it always comes back to fear. Fear that I'm not going to walk again. Fear that things are going to change, even if I truly want them to change. Fear that in this hectic 9-to-5 life that I've ended up in, that I'll never be able to prioritize myself again. Fear of not knowing who I am. Fear of people pleasing. She needs to go. I'm feeling, psychological buzzword here, a major case of cognitive dissonance. And to be honest, I've been feeling it for a while. I don't know about you, but change is scary to me. I truly wish it wasn't. I feel like that frog that sits in a boiling pot of water that slowly boils to death. I would love to jump out, but I just sit there and cook myself alive. And it truly feels that way, mentally, emotionally, and I'm trying not to physically, but I'm here talking to a camera about how I'm having an identity crisis. So here we are. I don't want to kill the part of me that has these passions just because I'm not nurturing them. Like, for God's sakes, I bought my first camera when I was 13 to make YouTube. 13! I'm 23 now. It has been 10 years that I have wanted to make my first ever video, but I kept being too afraid of that change, too afraid of putting myself out there. The fear of rejection, not knowing, all of it. And I'm done. I'm done letting fear control the way that I'm living my life, letting myself not nurture my creativity. So this is my first step. So hi, my name's Kira. Welcome to my channel where I'm not going to allow myself to keep living the way that I'm living, to find my identity and drag myself out of whatever hole I'm in. I'm going to do the things to better myself, pursue new habits, and creating a life that serves me, no matter how scary I think it is. Hey, it's me. You're probably wondering how I've ended up here. God, it is really obvious. Is it obvious that I am an ex-drama kid? No, Kira, never.